The alarm buzzed at 600 am, but Daniel was already awake. He hadn't really slept. The bills on the kitchen counter had kept him up most of the night. He rubbed his tired eyes, careful not to wake his 8-year-old daughter, Emma, still curled up on the couch under her favorite pink blanket. He poured himself black coffee, lukewarm from yesterday, then quietly packed Emma's lunch, a peanut butter sandwich, apple slices, and the last cookie from the jar. The sky outside was painted gray, threatening rain. Perfect, he thought. Just another day to survive. Daniel had been late twice that week. His boss at the cafe had warned him. One more time, and you're out. He couldn't afford to lose this job. Not when rent was overdue and Emma's field trip money was due tomorrow. By 7:30, he dropped Emma at school, kissed her forehead, and promised, "I'll be on time today." She smiled, believing him. But fate had other plans. On the way to work, Daniel noticed a car pulled over near the intersection. The hood was up, steam rising. A young pregnant woman stood beside it, panicked, her phone pressed to her ear. No one stopped. Cars just passed her by. Daniel hesitated for a split second. He looked at his watch. 7:54. If he stopped, he'd be late again. But his mother's words echoed in his head. Never walk past someone who needs help, Danny. Someday, kindness will come back to you. He pulled over. The woman was on the verge of tears. "I'm late for an appointment," she said, voice trembling. "My car just died." "Pop the hood," Daniel said. His hands were rough from years of work, but gentle as he checked the cables. It took 15 minutes, a cut finger, and a borrowed jumper cable from a nearby gas station, but the engine finally sputtered to life. Her relief was visible. "Thank you so much," she said. "You don't know how much this means to me." Daniel smiled faintly. "Just get there safe, ma'am." He didn't even ask her name. When he arrived at work it was already 8:25. His manager stood by the counter, arms crossed. "Daniel, that's it. You're done," he said coldly. "You can pick up your final paycheck on Friday." Daniel didn't argue. He just nodded, took off his apron, and walked out. That night, as Emma did her homework, Daniel sat at the kitchen table, staring at the flickering bulb above him. He wanted to tell her everything. How he lost the job, how scared he was. But instead, he smiled and said, "We'll be okay, kiddo." She smiled back, trusting him completely. 3 days later, Daniel received a call from an unknown number. "Mr. Hayes," a woman's voice asked. "This is Amanda from Heartland Holdings. The CEO would like to meet you regarding a potential position." Daniel frowned. There must be some mistake. I didn't apply anywhere. "I'm sure she'll explain," the woman replied. When he arrived at the glass-paneled building downtown, he felt out of place in his old jacket and worn shoes. The receptionist smiled and guided him to the top floor. The elevator doors opened, revealing a spacious office with sunlight pouring in. Behind the desk stood the same woman, the one whose car he'd fixed. She looked different now, confident, radiant, dressed in an elegant white blazer. "You," Daniel whispered in disbelief. She smiled. "You helped me when no one else would. I was on my way to a board meeting that morning, my first as CEO. I never forgot your kindness." She gestured to the chair across from her. "Please, sit." Daniel sat quietly, still processing everything. "I asked around about you," she continued softly. "Single father, hardworking, never missed a shift unless it was for your daughter. You lost your job that same day because you stopped to help me." Daniel's eyes lowered. "It's okay. I'd do it again." She smiled. "I know. And that's why I want you to work here, in our logistics department. Full benefits, better hours, more stability for you and your little girl." Daniel blinked hard, his throat tightening. I don't know what to say." "Just say yes," she said gently. "Sometimes, life gives back in the quietest ways." Outside the office, as he stepped into the sunlight, Daniel looked up at the sky. The same gray clouds now breaking open, light spilling through. He took a deep breath, feeling something he hadn't felt in months. Daniel walked out of the tall glass building, clutching the folder that held his new job offer. The city felt different that morning, brighter, warmer, alive. He looked at the reflection of himself in the glass door. Tired eyes, worn jacket, but a small, genuine smile that hadn't appeared in a long time. He stopped by Emma's school on the way home. When she saw him waiting by the gate earlier than usual, she ran toward him, her little backpack bouncing. "Daddy, you're home early," she said, wrapping her tiny arms around his waist. He lifted her up and smiled. "Guess what, sweetheart? Daddy got a new job. A real good one." Her eyes widened. "Really? You did it?" He nodded, trying to hold back the emotion swelling inside. "Yeah. And you know why? Because sometimes when you help someone without expecting anything in return, the world finds a way to thank you." As they walked home, Daniel noticed people passing by. A delivery guy struggling with heavy boxes, an old lady waiting to cross the street. For the first time in a long while, he didn't just see strangers. He saw stories. People with battles, fears, and dreams, just like his own. The next morning, Daniel stood at the bus stop wearing his cleanest shirt and a hopeful heart. He bought 2 coffees from the cafe across the street. One for himself, and one for the security guard standing by the office doors. "Long day ahead?" Daniel asked, handing him the cup. The guard smiled in surprise. "Yeah man, you have no idea." Daniel just nodded. "Hang in there, it gets better." As he entered the company lobby, the same woman who had changed his life happened to pass by. Their eyes met briefly, and she smiled knowingly. A quiet acknowledgement that kindness had come full circle. And in that moment, Daniel realized something powerful. That real success isn't built on luck or timing. It's built on moments of compassion. The small choices to do what's right even when it costs you. Because in a world that often forgets kindness, being kind is the rarest strength of all.